Have you ever wondered what happens when a panda, one of the most beloved animals on the planet, finds itself in trouble? Today, we're diving into a powerful and heartwarming story of survival, courage, and rescue that will touch your heart. This isn't just any animal story. It's a testament to the resilience of nature and the kindness of humanity. Imagine the dense, misty bamboo forests of Sichuan, China. This is the kingdom of the giant panda. Life here is usually peaceful, a gentle rhythm of munching on bamboo and napping in the sun. But for one young panda, let's call him Dao, which means peach or long life, his world was about to be turned upside down. Dao was a curious and playful cub, just over a year old. He'd recently left his mother's side to forge his own path, a natural but daunting step for any young panda. One afternoon, while exploring a new patch of bamboo on a steep hillside, disaster struck. The ground, soft by recent heavy rains, gave way beneath his paws. Dao tumbled down the slippery slope, his calls of distress swallowed by the vast, silent forest. He landed in a narrow, rocky ravine, far from his familiar territory. One of his hind legs was injured, making it painful to walk. He was alone, scared, and trapped. For a young panda, this is a life-threatening situation. Without the ability to forage for the massive amounts of bamboo he needed to survive, or to climb to safety, his strength would quickly fade. Days turned into a week. Dao grew weaker, his thick fur matted with mud. He could hear the sounds of the forest, the birds, the rustling leaves, but he was invisible to the world. Hope was beginning to dwindle. Dehydration and hunger were setting in. It seemed like his journey had ended before it had truly begun. But then, a glimmer of hope. A local farmer, Mr. Chun, was checking his land on the outskirts of the nature reserve, a routine he'd done for decades. He knew this land like the back of his hand. As he walked along the ridge, he heard a faint, weak cry. It was a sound he'd never heard before. Curious and concerned, he carefully made his way towards the sound, his heart pounding with a mix of apprehension and anticipation. Peering down into the ravine, his eyes widened in disbelief. There, huddled at the bottom, was a small, forlorn panda. Mr. Chun knew immediately that the animal was in grave danger. He couldn't reach the panda himself, and he knew time was critical. Without a second thought, he turned and rushed back to his village, his legs burning with urgency. He had to get help. He alerted the local wildlife conservation center. The news spread like wildfire. A panda was trapped. A dedicated rescue team was assembled in record time. Veterinarians, conservation officers, and experienced local guides. They gathered their equipment, ropes, a stretcher, medical supplies, and a special cage for transport. The mission was on. Guided by Mr. Chun, the team navigated the treacherous terrain to reach the ravine. The rescue operation was incredibly delicate. The team had to be careful not to frighten the already terrified panda, which could cause him to injure himself further. The lead veterinarian, Dr. Mei Lin, spoke in soft, soothing tones as the team slowly descended into the gorge. When they finally reached Dao, they could see the extent of his plight. He was emaciated, dehydrated, and his eyes were dull with exhaustion. He let out a weak growl, a final show of defiance from a wild animal. Dr. Lin approached him slowly, offering a piece of fresh bamboo and some water. Cautiously, Dao took a nibble. It was the first proper food he'd had in days. With a mix of expertise and gentle patience, the team managed to sedate Dao just enough to safely examine him and secure him onto the stretcher. The journey back up the steep, slippery incline was even more challenging. The team worked in perfect unison, carefully passing the stretcher from hand to hand, ensuring Dao's safety with every single step. It was a powerful display of human compassion and teamwork. Finally, they reached level ground. Dao was carefully placed in the transport cage and rushed to the conservation center's medical facility. There, he received the urgent care he desperately needed. The vet team cleaned his wounds, treated his injured leg, and gave him fluids and nutrients. The first 48 hours were critical, but Tao, the little survivor, had a strong will to live. Over the next few weeks, Tao began his long road to recovery. The staff at the center provided him with a quiet, safe enclosure filled with the best bamboo. They monitored him around the clock. Slowly but surely, his strength returned. The playful spark came back to his eyes. He started climbing the small structures in his enclosure, testing his healing leg. He was regaining his confidence, his wild spirit rekindling. The day finally came when Dao was deemed fully recovered and ready to return to his home. It was a moment of triumph for everyone involved. The rescue team, Mr. Chun, and the vets all gathered to watch. They transported him back to a safe, resource-rich area of the forest, far from the ravine that had almost claimed his life. As they opened the cage door, Dao hesitated for just a moment. He looked back at the faces that had shown him such kindness, a silent acknowledgement passing between man and beast. Then, with a newfound strength, he lumbered out and disappeared into the dense bamboo, back where he belonged. Dao's story is a beautiful reminder of the fragile balance of nature and our role in protecting it. It highlights the bravery of animals fighting to survive and the incredible compassion of people who dedicate their lives to helping them. Every single panda is precious to the survival of the species, and this one rescue, this one act of kindness from a farmer, saved a vital link in that chain. Stories like Dao's inspire us and show that one person's actions can make a world of difference. It's a powerful message of hope for wildlife everywhere. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey today. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel for more amazing stories from the animal kingdom. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you in the next video.